if I can find the right button.
A sunny park bench in Peckham. Tom enters.
Yes, come on, son. Show me what you got. Yes. The sun is roasting today, and I'm sweating. Sweet nectar from a peach slipping down my back. It's dripping down my back, son. You were racing down the street just then like Lewis Hamilton, and you've got plenty fuel in you still. When you were very small, about this high, you sat on my back of my bike like a king. King, son. I strapped you up in one of those plastic chairs, matching helmets, and we rode like champions down Peckham High Street, through New Cross and Deptford, the wind smacking our faces. We passed supermarkets, selling saltfish, animal carcass, strung along the line like pearls on a necklace. Barbershops, greasy spoon cafes, tasted the salt, chewed the fat. I licked my lips as I rode you through the streets, hungry and looking for a familiar face, a familiar place. We always stopped at that cafe. What's it called? So one on Shormit Road. The new God bless something. New season. As a God bless new season cafe. We drank lemonade and ate fried food until our jaws ached. Remember that time we got caught in the thunderstorm? It came down. The rain, thick and fast. I cycled home like a madman. Your mama made a shake off outside. She said, if you think you're coming in here and flooding our house, I want you dry as a bone and you can leave your socks outside too. But now, you're riding all on your own, like a grown-up. Next week, I'll take you to the skate park when it's quiet. Would you like that? We'll take our skateboards for a spin, start a gang, a good gang though, nothing sketchy. What do you say? Would you like that song? Abdul, Daddy's asking you a question. But first, we need to get you to stage 2. Take these baby wheels off. I think you're ready for it. Level 2, huh? Judging by your move today, we'll take those legs off that bike of yours and you'll be whizzing through the streets, flying like a Superman. Just wait till I tell your mama. She won't believe it. Huh? Are you hungry? No? Thirsty then? Running around all morning after you, I could eat for England. These skinny legs of mine will snap into. Let's see what she packed for us this time, eh? Ooh, something sweet to cool us down. Your mom is a wonderful woman. The best kind, son. But she still doesn't wash the fruit. I don't know how many times I've asked her now. Hundreds, no, thousands. You'll never guess what happened today. I can think of a few things. Let me take a wild guess. I took a bite out of an apple and it was covered in dirt. Are you sure? When did you last have your eyes tested? When did you last have your eyes tested? Sometimes I think she does it on purpose, to test me. She knows how much it bothers me. Dirty fruit. Who knows where it's from? How far it's traveled, what journey it's been on to get to London. But no. It's good for you. Helps you to have a bit of earth in your stomach. We're a society obsessed with cleanliness, she tells me. Besides, it's good for the immune system. It will make him stronger. That's the most stupid thing I've ever had. We're living in a polluted city. This is London. I don't see fruit growing on trees. Only those little pink flowers that make your daddy sneeze. The fruit isn't fresh. It's wrinkly on the outside and brown on the inside. Travels miles and sits in a box for days, gathering dust from the streets. Pollution sinks its rotten teeth into the flesh. Pollution takes a bite and spits it out on the stomachs of you and me, son. And the drinking water. Well, hey, don't get me started on the drinking water. Fresh water stream, forget it. This water comes from the pipes that twist and coil like snakes underneath London skin, probably filled with parasites too. You have to wash the fruit, son. Otherwise, you'll ingest the city's grime. No, don't listen to mama. Sometimes she's right, but in this instance, she's wrong. This is not the Garden of Eden. This is a London. We can't have you swallowing pollution. No son of mine's ingesting the sun's grime with his acida, not under my watch. That's why we wash the fruit before we eat it. But today we'll have to make do with what we have. Water from plastic bottle. Now, let us say a prayer. Thank you, God, for the food in our hands, for showing my son how to be brave and have courage, for teaching him how to have kindness in his heart. Thank you for protecting him and our good family, for the sunny skies that warm our faces, our hands, and our feet. Come on, you like grapes. You ate them yesterday. I even bought the expensive ones without seeds just for you. Okay, there are seeds, but come on, son. It tastes so sweet. Just one bite. You know, it takes some nerves to go that fast, letting the wind carry you free. I didn't even help you. You just went and drove it yourself. Where do you get your bravery from? It didn't come from me. Soon, you'll be sailing like a champion. Something for the birds to eat. Birds will eat anything, but feed them bread and you can kill them. Their stomachs will explode from the inside out like dynamite. I saw it once with my own eyes. It's truth. I'm not lying to you. Let me tell you something, son. Man to man. There are things people shout about and things they choose to stay quiet for. There is truth and there is untruth. You will sometimes have to say untruth to protect yourself and the people you love from hurting inside. If your mom is wearing a dress and I think it's ugly, sometimes I tell her, it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I tell her the dress is beautiful to stop the tears coming. Sometimes an untruth can save a marriage. It can stop a family breaking in two. Then there's truth, like how I love your mama, how we love God, and how I'll always look after you and love you, son, no matter what you choose to become. But then there's the evil untruths that are spiteful and cause pain. People say and do things that make you feel bad. The evil untruths keep piling up until there's a mountain of them. And this mountain, you have to climb it. But as you're climbing the mountain, your feet are sliding, it's impossible to reach the top. The mud gets on your clothes and under your skin. It's like shoveling shit. Sorry, son. Don't tell your mama. All these truths are there to hurt you, to make your life harder than it needs to be. That's why you have to remember the true things, like you and me and this bike of yours, because nothing else matters. You forget all your worries and untruths when you have family. You know, when you grow up, you look like me. People will think you're tough because all they see is a big man with strong hands for lifting and fighting and wrestling and protecting. I'm not going to pretend this life isn't hard. Even for strong men like you and me, no, they say trauma can be passed down to your children. That's bullshit. I didn't go through all that for it to fall on your shoulders. That's not what I signed up for in this life. I don't want to be raining down all that sadness on my son. What kind of man does that make me? But listen, I need to tell you how we got here. I don't want you growing up spoiled like those children on the street, not knowing your roots. You don't know the trouble we've been through to get you this bike. Your mama is always protecting you. She says, let him be a child, you know? She says, let him be free and play with all the other children. Let him belong. Let him belong. I'm your father, and there are things you must know to understand where you're from. So I'll tell you now, and I'll say it again and again until it becomes a story etched in your mind. A story so colorful and vibrant that it cannot be unlearned. It cannot be fractured or torn or erased. Nobody can break it. That story is your armor. It will set you free. This is your truth, son. Let this be our secret. First, I must begin with a tale. A very long time ago, the mirror said that when the world could talk, people had a link between heaven and earth and could easily travel from earth to heaven using a string that connected the two. If someone wanted to go to heaven, he or she could easily go and return back to earth. And when somebody wanted to come from heaven to visit earth, he or she could come and go back, depending on their needs. This string was very important to the communication of the time. One day, a woman wanted to go to heaven while carrying her grinding stone. Maybe she wanted to leave it there for God to protect it. On her way to heaven, the stone fell out of her hands. It tumbled all the way down to earth, cutting the string that was used to reach heaven. Since then, the communication and the travel that existed between heaven and earth came to an end. People could no longer travel from heaven to earth and from earth to heaven. This is why we no longer have connection between heaven and earth. When I was your age, Mama Aga told me this story every time there was a full moon in the sky. But she always changed the ending to an untruth, to make it a happy story. She said to me, whenever you look up at the sky and see a full moon, that's when you find peace, because you know that she made it to heaven with her grinding stone. Her stone is shining down on us, protecting the people on earth. It rests there, waiting for her. And when she eventually finds peace on earth, she'll float up to heaven and sleep quietly with her grinding stone. Mama Aga is a woman to be scared of. She's fierce in her anger and fierce in her happiness. People say, Mama Aga, how are you today? And she's either smiling at them with her teeth or raging at them with her fists. All my friends have mothers that cook and clean for them. Mothers that wash their clothes, prepare their meals, and look after the home. So it's tidy. But that's not the life I was born into. Mama, why don't you cook for me like all the other mothers? Because I'm a hard-working woman. But I'm a hard-working boy. I go to school and study all day long, and when I return home, I clean the house and prepare the food. It never stops. I know, son. Life is hard, huh? You see these hands of mine? Rough hands from plowing the fields all day long. These hands are covered in chalk from teaching the alphabet to hundreds of children like you. Show me your hands, son. Go on. Hold them up. Let me see just how hardworking you are. Softer than a baby's butter. These hands don't know the meaning of work. You need to break them in like all the strong women in our village. You want me to cook and clean and wash like all the other mothers? Sure, I'll do that. But when you find yourself alone in the world, fighting against evil, don't come running to me. One day you'll see. And when you do, you'll turn to God and say, that Mama Aga, she raised me to be a good Muslim boy. I'm from the biggest country in Africa. The land cultivates mangoes and limes and bananas. The fruit trees are abundant. They grow so tall because the land is so rich. The soil is healthy. When the sun is shining down on our back, the best thing you can do is eat a mango. Even now, when I take a bite, the sweetness takes me back to the Nuba Mountains. But they taste so different here in England. Green, yellow, orange, I love them all. The soft ones are the best kind because they are cheap and you get more for your money. Good price. I eat like an apple, the skin through, sprinkle with a little salt, and I arrive in heaven. Now, I pocket the stones. because one day I'll have a garden of my own filled with mango trees. After school, I walk for an hour to the market for food supplies. I'm carrying a few coins. Not many, but enough for 1 kilo of maize, enough for okra and sorghum. I cook a big pot of stew with vegetables, thick gravy sauce. It bubbles and simmers, the steam colors the windows. So I open the door and set it free. The air outside is thick and heavy, sticky like gravy sauce. I hear a family of crickets chirping in the bush. I think of Solomon and his hungry brothers eating fried crickets and rotten vegetables. Solomon is my best friend. He is like a brother to me, Christian brother. We're from different tribes. In our village, our tribes are at war. But here, we play together in peace. That's how it was in the Nuba Mountains. That's how we live, together side by side, Christian and Muslim. I mop up the store with a kisra, like Mama makes for you. The sun fades, but the night is electric, glowing with fireflies. When the last trace of day is snuffed out, I take my school book and cover its pages with constellations. The stars glitter like gold, and I catch each one with my left pencil. The falling eagle, the neck of the snake, the glance of the lion. I see them so clearly, set against the darkness of the night. We are lucky in the Nuba Mountains, where there is no pollution or street lights. Not like London. I kneel and pray. Thank you, God, for the precious life, for Mama Aga and our home and land. Please feed the crops with your tears and let the fields prosper once again. We haven't had rain for many months now. Every morning we pray for rainfall, but it doesn't come. Instead, we're given more sunshine. Our animals are dying from hunger and exhaustion. Nothing but bones and teeth. The skin is falling off. It's like they're wearing clothes that don't fit. I pray for Solomon and his family. Please, give them something good to eat. They can't fill their stomachs on cricket alone. I prepare a table for Mama Aga. The food is still warm. All she has to do is add fire and salt. It's perfectly good. I clean and dry the plate, take out my school books and pens, light a candle and watch it spark. The flames quivers and black smoke bellows out like a choo-choo train. I turn to page 3, algebra. My pen bleeds ink as I fill the page with equation after equation. The flame is getting angrier and angrier until the wind comes and snuffs it out. The room goes black. There's nothing I can do. So I lie back on my bed and watch the light empty from the sky. Mama Aga returns home from work and mops up the stool with kisra. She sweeps the floor to push the dirt out. It flies from the maize fields when the wind picks up, hits us like a tornado. Mama and her friends call it the northern beast of Khartoum. Mama takes a bath to wash the day off. It normally takes 3 buckets, but sometimes there is only enough water for 2. She changes into night dress and pulls the blanket over my shoulders. I am pretending to sleep. She tells me about her day. Today, son, I witnessed a terrible thing. As I was walking to school, I passed a busy crowd of people. At first I thought, it's a party. Someone's getting married. Then I saw the hate painted across people's faces. I smelled burning like meat and bones and clay. I watched the sick smoke rise and spread through the village like a virus. And I smelled this. I pushed my way through the crowd. Children were crawling through people's legs like rats, dirtying their hands and knees to try and get a better look. As I got closer, I saw a boy tied up to a tire like a slave. His body smoking like a stick of incense. They were shouting, thief, thief. Some people were even pointing and laughing. His flesh was covered by a mass of flies. feasting on his skin and bones. Children were kicking footballs at the tire, trying to get the ball through the hoop, using it as a goalpost. I wanted to stop this madness. I wanted to hold the mirror up to their faces to reflect their ugliness. It was too late. The damage was done, and he was already gone. I still dream about that thief. I imagine him tied up at the ankle to the rubber tire, his body limp and lifeless. The same way animal carcasses are hanging in a meat market. People looking and prodding them, searching for the best cut. She says a prayer to God. May God keep you safe. May God protect you when I'm gone. And please, God, make the fields grow again. Bring us sorghum and maize. May the heavens rain down on this village so the crops rise again. Can you feel the raindrops, Abdul? Huh? And look, there's a storm cloud ahead. Huh? It's coming for us. Huh? How fast can your legs sprint on that bike of yours? Fast enough to beat the storm? Repeat after me. Storm cloud. No, 2 words, 2 syllables. Yeah? Storm, yeah? Cloud, storm cloud. You may be wondering where my father comes into the story. Truth is, I don't see him much. Mama Aga doesn't like to talk about it. All I know is Baba's fighting in the bush with the rebels. You know? Fighting like a warrior. Pushes forward, retreats, pushes forward, retreats. Sometimes I mimic his pounding feet. I jab with my right arm to attack, and then I hide behind a tree. I fight like a warrior in my bedroom. When Mama Aga's out at work, I fight like a rebel to be closer to Baba. I asked Mama, when is Baba Warrior coming home? There's a long silence. Eventually, she says, go to your room now, Tom. You must study. I do as I'm told. I'm a hard-working boy, mostly because I want to make Mama Aga proud of me, her only child. I can't fail my exams, so I study hard every day. And when it's dark outside, I work by candlelight. Doctors and teachers are the most respected people in society. They have nice clothes, big homes, brand new cars. They go on holidays to Europe and eat all the mangoes they want. That's why I studied to be a doctor. Ali is a doctor. Huh? He lives in his big house next to ours with his pretty wife, Mariah. Ali dresses sharp like a businessman or politician. He brings Mama Aga fresh dates because they're her favorite. He leaves 20 or 30 dates out the front door, wrapped in a piece of cloth that smells like cologne. Mama Aga likes Ali very much. It's Sunday, and we're walking home with Ali and Mariah after a Kote prayer. They're speaking in hushed voices, the way adults do. I snatch words and piece them together like a jigsaw. Too young to be taken, tried to resist, forced to fight against his own will, God rest his soul. I wonder what it means to be taken. Maybe he was kidnapped. Maybe the wind snatched him from the earth and carried him away to Ethiopia or Chad. Maybe he was tied up like the village thief and set on fire for doing bad things. I'm looking at Ali's feet. He's wearing pointy shoes, snakeskin or leather or tortoiseshell. It's hard to tell. I interrupt the conversation and ask Ali if he's the richest man in the village. When he doesn't reply, I say, why does God make some people suffer, like Solomon and his family, when others get to wear snakeskin shoes? Mama Aga gasps. She digs her nails into the palm of my hand. Ali and Maria start laughing. You're very wise, Tom. You're right. Life is unfair. God can be unkind. Just like us humans. Some people are luckier than others. All we can do is pray for those who are less fortunate and offer food to the hungry. I think of the dates wrapped in cloth. That's the first time I understand the difference between them and us. We arrive home. Mama Aga is so mad that she sends me to my room. I go to bed on an empty stomach. I don't understand why she's so angry. Because I spoke a truth, not an untruth? That was the longest time I went without mango. The Nuba Mountains are green again, and the crops are growing up. We've been blessed with rain. The land is fertile, and we're going to bed with full stomachs again. Finally, God is listening to us. He is answering our prayers. Solomon and his family no longer eat crickets. I'm climbing up my bonsai, growing so fast, Mama Aga can't keep up with me. The clothes on my back are too tight, so the cotton splits and my arms and legs shoot through. My feet poke out of the end of the bed. Head being taller than Solomon. He's struggling to catch up with me. I try and slow down, but my arms and legs have other ideas. Brother, have you grown another 3 inches overnight? No, man. You know what you should do when you leave school? Huh? University? Fine. You know what you should do when you finish university? What? Basketball player. It's the only job for guys as tall as you. And what about guys as small as you? Very funny. That's really insulting, you know. Don't worry, brother. Puberty will come for you soon. My voice is breaking, and small fine hairs are sprouting from my chin like grass. Mama gives me a blade and shows me how to shave. She rubs peanut oil into my skin to soothe the rash. I can do it, I say, my hands pushing her away. But I cut myself in more places than one and have to go to school with a cut-off face. Solomon takes one look at me and can't stop laughing. He says it's like I've been attacked by chickens. No, the girls in my school are growing in ways that are surprising to me. Some are prettier than others. The pretty ones stop coming to class. No one asks why. I'm eating okra and millet with Solomon's family. They're talking politics again. His father and mother are always at war with each other. They never agree. Their voices grow louder and angrier. I'm stuck in the middle, and Solomon is shooting looks at me, trying to contain his laughter. You know what happened to people like us, Nasaya? Just look at Darfur. It's not the same. Will you face the truth, woman? The same will happen in the Nuba Mountains. They're coming for us. We're not leaving our home. I refuse to leave and have this discussion with you. You're being childish. We leave, they win. Everywhere we look, our Christian brothers are fleeing and being killed anyway. Either we run or we die. That's enough, Benjamin. Not in front of the children. They tell us to go to Solomon's room. So we take our food and disappear out of sight. I know it's serious now because Nasaya is crying. She's a strong woman like Mama Aga. We hold our ears up to the word. Benjamin is whispering. You know what happened to Baba? taken by force to fight against his own will. Who knows if he's alive or dead? You want Solomon to be like Tom? No father to help him be a man? Nuba will be targeted. There are too many pacifists here in this village, and they know it. We live or we die. I finished the last piece of okra and feel dizzy in the head. The hunger I felt before has gone, and in its place, another kind of hunger. A hunger that can't be filled. I'm 17 now. Ali and Mariah are having a baby. Mama Aga is still a hardworking woman. On Saturdays, I go to the hospital with Ali for work experience. I have the time of my life. I sit in the passenger seat of his fancy car, with his briefcase on my lap. I spend my days sorting through his paperwork. Sometimes I go to the operating theater and wear scrubs. I witness a cesarean section and 2 natural births. The hospital food is good. I eat sorghum and wash it down with sweet tea. 10 lumps of sugar in every cup. On Saturday, we go to the field and test school children for TB and HIV. Some of them are babies, Abdul, much younger than you. We eat maize and beans in Ali's car. I ask him how Mariah's are doing and when the baby will be born. His eyes fill up and spill over into his lunch, peppering his maize and beans. The baby has gone to a better place. I want to speak, but nothing comes. The words are dancing on my tongue, daring me to set them loose, but I swallow them down again. He wipes his eyes with the back of his sleeves, and we drive back to hospital in silence. Summer arrives. Summer arrives, I finish school and receive the best results in my year. Mama Aga is so proud. Ali helps me apply to the finest medicine schools in the country. He continues to take dates to Mama, wrapped in cloths and smelling of cologne. Mama Aga is working less and less. I can see she's afraid of being alone. I promise her I'll visit every weekend, but she says, you'll be too busy chasing girls to be worrying about your mama. For the summer holidays, I work part-time in a kiosk that sits on the side of a dusty road. I sell salted mangoes, kilos of maize and locally brewed merissa. Merissa is made by brewing dates, millet, and sorghum. It's lethal, son. No one's looking. I twist the lid, break the seal, and drink. I know I shouldn't. I know it's wrong. But I do it because I want to know what it's like. I want to feel it frost in my mouth, like a bubble bath, and slide down my throat. I want to feel like a man. But I don't feel like a man. I feel like a fraud. Bad Muslim boy. It's the worst thing that's ever passed my lips. So I spit it back in the plastic bottle and then return it to the shelf. I'm scared Mama Aga will smell merissa on my lips. So I quickly eat a whole mango to mask the smell. When I arrive home, Mama's fast asleep on the sofa. She doesn't have her scarf on, and her hair is silver from root to tip. That's the first time I realized how old she's getting. I've been so focused on getting to the best college. Somewhere along the way, I stopped seeing my own mama. She's sleeping so peacefully. So I tiptoe into my room and go to bed with an empty stomach. In the Nuba Mountains, sometimes rain falls down so hard, it hurts. And you have to run for cover. It's like God's throwing small rocks at people on earth to see how fast their legs can go. You hook your flip-flops over your waist and up to your elbows to shield yourself from the rain. When it's very hot and the rain stops falling, all the flowers and plants dry up and everything turns to dust. The worst part is when the sandstorm comes. It whirls around like a giant twister, and the sand sticks to your face and fills your mouth. You have to spit it out, or you can choke. The minute someone starts shouting, Haboob, Haboob, you must run for cover, or the sandstorm will eat you. People in the Nuba Mountains are starving. It happens very quickly and suddenly. Everywhere I look, people are dragging their feet behind them, all skin and bones. The shops are empty, nothing to sell in the markets. People are eating their cattle because there is no grain in the fields. Helicopters drop sacks of rice and maize and sorghum. When the engine sounds, children run towards propellers and take what they can carry on their backs. So this grape, too many pips, too sour to eat. Never take food for granted. When you're hungry, anything is better than nothing. Salt and pepper, lemon, ketchup on the side, forget it. You take whatever you can because food is your lifeline. Things got really bad when Ali stopped bringing Mama Aga dates. That's when I knew that even the rich can't save us from our hunger. I remember the summer of 2003 for many reasons. I remember it for a sandstorm that blew across the mountains like a rage that wouldn't settle. I remember it for the mass hunger that continued to infect our village. I remember it as the last summer of my youth, before I turned from boy to man. But most of all, I remember it as the summer Mama Aga was taken from us. It happened one afternoon. I'd been working all day, and when I arrived home, Ali and Mariah were waiting for me. Where is Mama Aga? Nothing. I asked again, but louder this time. Where is Mama Aga? Mariah was crying. I saw that her belly was still round, even the baby had died in there. She used a cloth to wipe away her tears. I wonder if it smelled of cologne. Are you growing tired of your father, Abdo? Soon you can play with them. Look, I'll push you on the swings. I'll push you higher than all the other children until your feet touch the clouds. Are you still hungry? Ham and butter, no crusts. No crusts. I tell her the crusts are good for you. It's where all the nutrients are hiding. You have to eat the crust if you want to be strong like Daddy. She always gives you what you want. We bury Mama Aga on some land behind the house. I scatter mango stones where she's laid to rest and cover each one with soil. Add a little water and pray. Dear God, please save your tears for the mango stones. They need to be watered 2 or 3 times a day. Don't forget. I will not be around to do it myself, so it's very important. When I return home, a mango tree will stand in its place. I will name it the Great Aga Tree. Ali says a few words and leaves some dates wrapped in cloth on Mama's side. Summer passes, and it's time for me to leave. I'm the second boy in our village to go to university. I have a small amount of money to fund my studies, a modest sum, enough to support me for a few months when I find my feet. Ali tells me he'll take good care of the house and farm. That will be there for me when I return as a doctor. I finish my job at the kiosk and say goodbye to Solomon and his family. Ali drives me to the bus station in his fancy car. He hands me some dates wrapped in cloth and a mango for the journey. I'm afraid, he holds my head between his hands. I'm afraid he's about to go in for a kiss. It's most unusual behavior. I freeze. This We'll make a fine doctor. Your mother would be so proud. And then he pushes me onto the bus and tells me to write to him if I need anything. Anything at all, sir. I sit at the back of the bus and sleep for the whole journey. It's my first day in Khartoum, my first time. The largest city in my country. In Khartoum, two rivers meet. The White Nile flows north from Lake Victoria, and the Blue Nile flows west from Ethiopia. I imagine their friends unified in this great capital city, holding hands in solidarity, like Solomon and me. In Khartoum, they sell food all the way from America and beyond. Everything in tin cans, condensed milk, chewing gum, and Cadbury's chocolate in purple wrappers. The University of Juba is a premier place to study, one of the best schools in the country. A special meal is being prepared for the new students on campus. It's a feast. I've never seen so much food and drink before. Piles of food, tangled up, in piles of noodles, like string, and stewed rice with raisins on silver trays. So much fruit, the colors of the rainbow. My eyes are wide open, hands sweating, stomach moaning, and suddenly very hungry. There's a stew with 5 different types of fish. Now this baffled me. How is there so much fish in Khartoum? A landlocked city so far from the sea. I don't know if I'll eat food like this again. When nobody is looking, I fill my pockets with biscuits, cakes, and small packets of sugar. Someone takes my arm, and I think this is it. My life ends here. I'll go to jail before sitting my first exam. I'll never be a doctor. But instead, I'm led to a table with other students like me. The man whispers, "It's time for the Vice Chancellor's speech," in my ear. And the room goes quiet. The Vice Chancellor arrives, followed by men in suits. He walks to the center of the stage, big grin on his face, snakeskin shoes, rich man. I want to eat the fish too, but everyone's looking at the Vice Chancellor, waiting for him to speak. I'm salivating. The Vice Chancellor is talking and talking about his future plans for his university, aiming high, academic excellence. It's a long speech, and I'm daydreaming about my new student life, the many feasts I'll have, all the fish too I'll eat, the many stories I'll tell Ali, Solomon, many stories I'll tell Mama Aga. As a community of academic researchers and learners of country's most impressive premier university, we take pride in not simply sitting on our laurels, but in our relentless search for academic excellence and always aiming high, very high. It's almost an hour before I can eat. The fish stew is warm, not hot, but still very tasty. The fish falls straight off the bone. It's so delicate, it melts in my mouth. I want to be a student for the rest of my life. I'm sitting next to a medical physiologist, Dr. David Jumbo, PhD student. He tells me about his research paper. I think he likes the sound of his own voice. I eat quickly and greedily. Fish stew is dripping down my chin and staining my shirt. Dr. Jarmo tells me about his latest study. Something to do with a new form of therapy in America that's transforming society. I'm nodding and smiling. Occasionally I say, "Oh, yes, David," or "No, David," or "More stew, David." Someone taps me on the shoulder. It's poor timing. I've just taken my last mouthful of fish stew. I turn around to find a woman smiling back at me. She's wearing a suit jacket under her hijab that makes her look about 50 years old, and these gold earrings that pull her earlobes down like heavy weights. Her eyes are like emeralds. I hold on to my plate and tell her, "I'm not finished with it yet. I want to mop up the sauce with my pancake." "Can you please come back later?" I ask. She continues to stand there, staring at me. So I hold out an empty glass. "I'll have more cola," I say. Dr. Jumbo bursts open and his laughter shakes the room. Food sprays from his mouth and lands on all the students' plates. The whole table joins and everyone's crying with laughter. The woman with the braids has a look of horror on her face. Now she's laughing too, and the rest of the room is staring at me. I'm staring back at them, and then at Dr. Jumbo, and then back at the woman. Then I start laughing. I don't even know why. This is Nilam, says Dr. Jumbo. There are tears in his eyes, and his cheeks, he wipes his face, and with his napkin. Nilam is a student of medicine, like you. No. No. I'm so embarrassed. My first day as a student, and already I've earned myself the title of class clown. A boy from the rural countryside moves to the big city, and this is what happens. I'm so ashamed. I want to run all the way back to the Nuba Mountains and lock myself away. It gets worse. Are you Tom? Come on, open your mouth and say something, anything. I'm Nilam, your mentor. I thought I'd come and say hello. Dr. Jumbo and the other students on our table are stuffing their faces with fish stew in an attempt to stop the laughter. The words are locked in my mouth. Yes, this is Tom, says Dr. Jumbo. It's as if my tongue has been snipped off or hung out to dry for bait. Nilam, why don't you take my seat? I should be going now anyway. Every time I see her, my palms start sweating. Heart is racing. I don't know where to look, where to place my hands. How to talk to women, I haven't a clue. No one's ever told me or shown me how it's done. Suddenly, Khartoum is a very big place with infinite possibility. I'm feeling things I've never felt before. I want the world to swallow me up because, son, where I'm from, everything stays the same. Nothing ever changes. River always blue, rooster always crow, sun always bright, mango always sweet. I go from door to door to find work in the city. Show my face in restaurants and unsafe places so I can continue my education. People ask, where are you from? You don't look like you're from around here. What tribe you belong to? And when I tell them, they turn their backs on me. Because, son, Daddy belongs to a tribe that's accused of being against the state. I have to keep my head down. I'm offered a night job at Khartoum's finest Indian restaurant. The boss tells me anyone is welcome as long as we don't talk. Politics, if I hear you say the man's name. The man, you know the one. You mean if I hear his name, you're back on the streets without a job, okay? Yes, no, yes, boss. Yes, boss. Thank you for the job, boss. At Juba University, the lecture halls are overcrowded with hundreds of students. Sometimes there are as many as thousands. There aren't enough teachers. Salaries are small. Laboratories only have basic chemicals. Education isn't a priority for the government. Instead, there are more guns in the street. Armed soldiers wherever you look. They stop me every time I walk home from campus, ask for money. Who's your father? What's he fighting for? And your mother, where is she? I answer, the government, fighting for the state, fighting for Islam. They threaten me. You're a Zionist, an Israeli spy. You're not a true Muslim brother. You're fighting against state and Islam. A soldier pokes me in the side with his gun. Shame on you. He spits on the ground by my feet. We know your secrets. You can't hide from us, boy. 2 weeks later, the same soldiers killed 2 guys in front of my eyes. University students like me. It's the first time I see someone killed. Keep my head down. Eyes on the dusty ground. hurry home and lock all the windows and doors. Lights off, only candles. I force myself to stay awake all night. Pinch my cheeks when I'm tired. Cold showers. I cannot sleep in fear that the soldiers will come for me. When I arrive home, I write to Solomon. It's the first time I feel truly homesick for the Nuba Mountains. I write, I miss you, brother. Khartoum is hell. Here, there are soldiers in every street ready to shoot. They prod and poke and push with their guns, laughing like the devil. My education doesn't matter anymore. Not when there is war. Tell me, friend. I want the honest truth. Will I be forced to fight in South Sudan like father, Baba? Everyone at university knows Nilam. She's one of the popular ones. She walks around campus smiling, head held high, always winning, top grades, afraid of nothing. She's one of the 10 other women studying medicine and has to work 3 times harder than the men. She wears a suit under her hijab. Recently, she's been calling herself a radical feminist. Aren't you hot under all those layers? I'm doing it for the sisterhood, Tom. Can't you just be a feminist that dresses appropriately? Oh, wow, this is new. A man is telling a woman how to dress. I'm only suggesting you wear lighter clothing for your own comfort. Are you concerned for my well-being? What a considerate young man you are. One afternoon, after a long day of studying for exams, Nilam runs into the library. She throws her bags on the floor, beads of sweat on her forehead. You will not believe what happened to me today. I'm actually in the middle of these biopsy results. I go to collect my papers from the exam office. Let me guess, you got your first B. Listen, I read the examiner's notes, and when I get to the bottom, it says, the student shows real potential. His work demonstrates academic excellence and innovation in the field of medicine. I wish him the best of luck with his remaining studies. Can you believe it, Tom? The examiner thinks I am a man. It wouldn't be the first time. What are you going to do about it? That same day, Nilam finds out where the professor's office is and pays him a visit. She knocks on his door. Professor, do you have a moment? Please, come in, take a seat. What can I do for you? My name is Nilam Kenyi. You marked my paper recently. Do you remember me? I'm afraid not, Miss Kenyi. I marked papers of each week. Maybe it's because I didn't write my name on the paper. I'm wondering why you refer to me as he. I am, as you can see, all woman. Can women not excel in the field of medicine, Professor? Can women not get top marks like their male counterparts? That night, Nilam visits me in the Indian restaurant. I serve her plates of lamb, biryani, and mint chutney, her favorite. What do you call a lamb covered in chocolate? I don't know. A candy bar. Wow. Tom is laughing at my jokes. Hallelujah. I'm always laughing at your jokes. Are you serious? I've seen you smile maybe 2-3 times in 4 months. No time for playing around at Juba University. I'm a doctor. I've got life. Khartoum is noisy and smelly. Cars zoom from every direction. They don't ever stop to breathe. It's hotter than 35 degrees in the middle of the night. Dust is carried from the desert, and you can wait all day for a breeze to come, but it never will. The city never sleeps. You get lost in the streets. I continue to study hard. Long days at the library, followed by long nights washing dishes in the Indian restaurant. If Mama Aga could see me now, I'm confident she would say, "What are you doing working hard in an Indian restaurant, son? You hate Indian food." Every night, I return home and scrub my hands to remove the yellow turmeric stains from under my fingernails. I sit at my desk and study for 3, sometimes 4 hours. I write to Ali and Solomon and tell them about my day. Then I fall asleep to the smell of Indian food and the noisy streets of Khartoum whistling beneath me. I haven't seen much of Nilam lately. It's like she's disappeared. She's not at her usual desk in the library or in any of the dining halls. Days pass, and then weeks. They feel long and heavy without her there to poke fun at me. I'm worried. So I visit her dormitory one evening before work. No answer. I knock again. Hi, is Nelam here. Who are you? I'm her, she mentored me. Ah, you're Tom. I've heard so much about you. Oh, have you? She's out with her boyfriend at the moment. Can I take a message? My head spins. I feel hot and everything is bright. I see nothing but a yellow light. And that splits my head in two. So I run fast. She's calling after me, but it's too late now. I can't go back. Stupid. To think she would even look at me like that. I'm not clever enough, not strong enough, not hard enough for this woman. I run all the way to the Indian restaurant. When I arrive, I'm dripping with sweat. The boss hands me a letter. It's from Solomon. I tuck it in my pocket and take it to the restroom. Shut the door and turns the lock. I remember the boss said to me, "No politics, welcome here." The envelope's been tampered with. There are small holes around the edge. It's like a mouse has been trying to nibble its way in. Dear brother, I miss you too. We're moving to Al-Fashir. It's not safe anymore. People in the village have been arrested. Government troops arrived in trucks and took all the men away. All the children are screaming. Father thinks the arrests were ordered under military commander to North Darfur. Our school is closed. Teachers have gone to the bush or have been jailed. Some have gone to war in South Sudan to fight. Brother, it pains me to say this, but we cannot write anymore. Not until my family is safe. I don't want to put them in danger. I'm sorry. I hope one day we will see each other again. I wish you well. Your best friend, Solomon. I hate this life. No? I hate Khartoum. All alone. No friends. I stopped seeing Nilam for help. Study for 12, sometimes 14 hours a day. The books will save me from my loneliness. Library, restaurant, sleep, repeat. The same routine every day for 2 months. I stop attending class, eat less and less, stop writing to Ali and Solomon, make myself invisible. I'm late for work at the Indian restaurant again, and the boss tells me I have one last chance. He says, "Toman, you're ruining the reputation of the business." Sleeping in the library has become a habit of mine. I open my eyes, my cheek is stuck to a page of my textbook. Nilam is staring back at me in disbelief. She hands me a small linen bag. I open it up, and fresh dates tumble out onto the desk. One falls straight into her hand. "Why have you bought me dates? Where have you been all this time?" "I don't need your help. You're my responsibility. I'm nobody's responsibility." Don't be proud, Tom. He's right. I'm being proud, but I'm also afraid. I don't have to be your mentor. I'd rather be your friends. What about your boyfriend? What boyfriend? I heard you had a boyfriend. That's why you've been so busy. I've had kidney stones, Tom. I haven't been busy. I've been in hospital. She's laughing so hard now. I can't decide whether I'm angry with her or over the moon. She's laughing so hard. Before long, I'm laughing too. Life in Khartoum has improved significantly. It's quite good, in fact. I have friends now. I have a friend now. Her name is Nilam. We meet on Mondays, and then on Mondays and Wednesdays, and then on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Sometimes we meet on weekends too. Gradually, the loneliness retreats until there are just a few small ribbons of it left. The wind picks up and the ribbons are carried away into the sky until they disappear behind a big dark cloud. You still hungry, son? I've never known someone to have such a big appetite. That's all right, you're a growing boy. You need all the protein you can get. Did I tell you about the time your mama came home with a bag full of moldy yams? Yeah, it's true. Moldy. Unbelievable. The skin were covered in fur and she didn't even notice. You've been tricked. What are you shouting for? They must have seen you coming. Keep your voice down. The neighbors will hear you. You must be blind as a bat. It's completely covered. What did you just call me? I've never seen your mama so angry. The next day, she returned to the market with a bag of moldy yams. You've got a nerve selling the bag of old yams to a respectable woman like me. I'll report you to the police. Can't you speak? Can't cut your tongue? It's results day. I'm walking to the examination office, feeling confident, feeling good. No soldiers followed me to the campus today. No interrogation. This is a good sign. The universe is on my side. I asked the examination assistant for my paper. What's your name? Tom. Surname? Oh, sorry, Hassan. A long pause. Follows as she rustles through a stack of paper. She looks up at me and smiles. 68. I'm sorry? 68. Are you sure? Are you questioning my ability to do my job properly? Here it is in red, 68. So I failed. You can retake the exam in summer. And if I don't take the exam in summer, then I presume someone else will. And they will go to complete their medical degree and most probably get a job as a doctor. Now, please, there's a big line behind you, and I'd quite like to go home today if possible. Does it cost this exam? Everything costs. What happens if I don't take the exam? We can look at transferring you to pharmacy. Pharmacy? It's out of the question. I take the paper and leave. It's covered in red pen. On the very last page, there are just 4 words. Disappointing. Must try harder. That night at the restaurant, as I wash off the fragments of lentil, dal, and okra, I am crying into the sink. The tears won't stop flowing. They land in the bowl of soapy water like big drops of rain in the ocean. Not only have I failed myself, but I failed Ali. And worst of all, Mama Aga. I'll have to return home and work in the fields. Or worse, become a pharmacist. I think of home, the home of my childhood, long before hunger, before the starvation, the burning and fighting. How beautiful my life was then. Mama Aga and father and me, living in the peaceful Nuba Mountains, where crops grow in abundance, where roosters crow and donkeys carry millet and sorghum enough to feed the family. A whole village where water runs clear, where mangoes grow. I'm done with this life. I don't even care for medicine anymore. I want to return home, back to my native land. I'd rather live in the Nuba Mountains, work all day on the farm. Even if there's little food to eat, I know I'll be happier. The exams are over for the summer. What students are invited for a special celebration dinner? Perhaps there'll be fish stew and piles of rice. I pray that the vice chancellor doesn't make an appearance this time. I write a letter to Nilam. It takes me a long time to get it right. I almost got through a whole notepad before I arrive at the final draft. I'm sorry to say I'm leaving Khartoum. I failed my exams, which means, Nilam, I failed you. I'm so ashamed. I cannot thank you for all you have done for me. Life has been tough. And that's terribly. But you have made my days bearable. You have even made me laugh. So well done for that. The Nuba Mountains are calling for me. It's time I go back and be with my people. I ask her to come to the celebration dinner as my honorable guest. I want to thank her for all she's done and to say goodbye. I slip a note under Nilam's door. It's evening now, and I'm walking to the dining hall in my best shoe and shirt and tie. Not tomorrow, I return to the Nuba Mountains where the river is always blue and the sun always shines. I return home and get a job, at the kiosk, work on the land, save money for the cattle, start a business of my own, eat fresh mangoes again. The lamb arrives, and son, I cannot move. I'm stuck to my chair. Clammy palms, hottens the collar. She takes a seat next to me. I fall into her emerald eyes and can't find my way back out of them. Her smile is so wide that I can't help but smile back at her. Then before I knew it, I opened my mouth and the words just spill out. All I see is red writing on the page. I haven't worked 2 jobs and worn through the shoes on my feet for nothing. What good is education? And all around us, when all around us there is war and fighting and hunger, what good is medicine when there's nobody left to treat? Mama Aga and Ali would be so disappointed with me, and so would my father. I wanted to be a doctor my whole life. I wanted to do things in the world and help people in the way I didn't help Mama Aga. But maybe my real destiny is out there in the bush like Baba. They will come for me eventually. There's silence. I'm red in the face, so embarrassed. What have I done? You think I'm totally mad, a complete fool. Why couldn't you just keep your mouth shut, man? Huh? Then she turns to me and says, you're going to sacrifice your dream. All because of one stupid comment. I should have known you were just like them. The students that quit after a few bumps in the road. One bad grade, and you say goodbye to your education. Goodbye to your future. Fine. Return to the farm. If that's what you want. I thought you were made of stronger stuff. I thought you were different. Let me tell you, Tom, that professor is a rotten man. Someone told me he supports al-Bashir. He was responsible for all the political arrests last week. She moves in closer. She's so close now, I can feel the warm skin of her cheek brush against me. Listen, you have so much potential. You have to face the truth, Tom. I can see it. I have so many medicine students, and yes, they're good, and yes, they pass their exams, but you have compassion and empathy for people, and that's rare. You'll be a fine doctor. You'll be a fine doctor. You can't leave. You have to face the truth, Tom. There is nothing left for us back home. Our villages are at risk. Our people, our families, we have to get an education so we can be free. And then we can save ourselves from this disaster country. You and me. You and me. I ate lots of fish too after that. My appetite has sprung back and I can see the light again. I try and put my teeth away, but I can't stop smiling. It's vulgar. I'm laughing at everyone's jokes. For the first time in months, I see that my dream of being a doctor might be a reality for me. I fill my bowl with more fish too and feel the warm glow of Nilam. In Nuba Mountains, far from Khartoum, another bomb sparks the sky. She squeezes my hand, and together we fly. There's a quote by a famous Irish writer. There are darknesses in life and there are lights. You are one of the lights, the light of all lights. That is what your mother is to me, the light of all lights. No, I don't understand the obsession. Shape-shifting, it's not exactly a new concept, is it? No? Metamorphosis, transforming into some other being. They all tell the same story anyway. Good versus evil. Fighting to protect their people. The rest is just detail, color, and impressive sound effects. Yes, I know you want to go. Your mama will take you soon. Me? I'm not going. Because it's not daddy's thing. I prefer something lighter. Romantic comedies. Anything with Hugh Grant or Colin Firth. Anyone can shapeshift. You want me to shapeshift? We can reenact the Avengers story together if you like, huh? Right here in Burgess Park, free of charge. Oh, choo-choo! What am I saying? Choo-choo! Come on, don't be upset with me. Soon, we'll go home, and you can watch all the Avengers movies you like, okay? Now, let me see. It's 2011. I'm a doctor at a military hospital in Khartoum. Your mom is a professor of medicine at the Juba University. She's one of 3 female professors in the faculty of science. She still wears a suit under her hijab. One evening, we sit down to eat our evening meal. I asked Nilam to be my wife. There's a long silence. Let me think about this, she says. Let me think about this. Is she joking? I wasn't expecting a response like that. I thought it would be an instant, yes. If she says no, I'll have to tell everyone at the hospital. The silence continues. The stew is getting cold. After what feels like a very long time, she says, okay, I'll marry you. And I drop to my knees of relief and happiness. We're living our lives in a state of growing uncertainty. Every day I leave the house for work to find another armed soldier in the street. People are looking at each other with suspicion, afraid to show their faces, afraid to speak the truth. People talk. They talk and talk and talk. Gossip blows from mouth to mouth like diseased wind. It spreads like wildfire. You try and run away from the bad news, But when the flames are blazing in front of you, you have to face it. Because maybe what they say is real. It's hard to know the difference between truth and gossip. But sometimes that distinction is a matter of life and death. A doctor at the hospital tells me the government is carrying out daily aerial attacks in the Nuba Mountains. He tells me the farmland is being destroyed. Whole villages wiped out and burned to the ground. He says that, cover your ears, Abdul. Children are being thrown into fires. Bodies stuffed into wells pollute the water supply. Huts are set alight with families trapped inside by vicious flames. No attempt has been made to deliver aid to the mountains, says the doctor. People are afraid of upsetting the president. Bashir is like a magician. All he has to do is wave his magic wand and another village goes up in a cloud of thick black smoke. Receive a letter from Ali. It arrives with an envelope. The words run off the page like they're trying to escape. Dear Tom, our village is in ruins. I'm so sorry, but I wasn't able to save your home. Our houses are burning. The fields are blackened. Even the cattle have been set on fire. I wanted to stop it all, but we had to run. We are leaving for Chad. Mariah's family are there, so we will join them. There are jobs for doctors in the camps and teachers too. As I read this, I'm 3 weeks away from being a father. That is why we must leave. Save our child. One day, son, you'll understand. In my mind, I see the Nuba Mountains and the crests brushing the sun. I see the mango trees casting shadows on Mama Aga. I see cattle roaming and roosters crowing and the threat of fierce orange flames dancing on the horizon. That night, as I try to sleep, and imagine an image touches itself to me like a leech. I try and shake it off, but I can't. It's dark outside. Radio Tabanga is on and we're cooking okra stew. The president is speaking. His name, cover your ears, son. Omar al-Bashir. He's speaking to Muslim leaders in Khartoum, only 6 miles away from your mama and me. He says, if South Sudan secedes, we will change the constitution. Our template is clear, 100% Islamic constitution. Nothing will preserve your rights except for Islamic Sharia. Christians have no right here any longer. The lamb is washing, slicing, and frying the okra. She cuts her finger with the kitchen knife. Now there is blood on the blade. She's getting more and more agitated. Will you turn that thing off? 3 times I've heard that man speak today. It's all my students have been talking about. There's a piece of mango stuck between my teeth and I can't get it out. I stir the okra stew and add some coriander and cumin, a pinch of filfil. That's black pepper to you, son. The lamb puts her hands in a bowl of cold water to stop the bleeding, stop the blood running. I turn the radio off, but I can still hear his voice. Christians have no rights here any longer. I pick the mangoes from my teeth and spit it out on the ground. When summer arrives, the country splits across the center, creating one long division like an invisible wall of China. 2 states exist, side by side, not together, but apart. Celebrations erupt in South Sudan. people dancing in the streets of Juba. We return to Radio Dbanga. People are crying with joy and happiness. They are chanting, "We are free, we are free. All we need now is an independent government," says a student to the news reporter. Fireworks explode in the distance. It sounds like gunfire erupting. We can't tell the difference. Here in Khartoum, there is an unnatural calmness on the streets outside, like the beginning of a storm. We are told, brothers, that the South is our younger sibling. The Nile is our blood. It's what connects us. But now we are estranged, forced apart by circumstances, and at war with each other. Strangers in our shared land, our homeland. The air is thick, and something is stewing beneath the earth. We can feel it shift under our feet. Juba University returns to its home in the south. Me and your mama follow. I relocate to the military hospital in Juba. Lam keeps her job as a university. She's offered a small salary increase and takes a new role as the head of department. We pack our lives into 3 cases. I close my eyes and pray. When it shoots off into the air, we look down at the white-blue Nile that runs like a piece of thread. May God protect Solomon, my dear friend, and my brother. The land below us sparks. We watch the thick black smoke swirl with orange embers. Hunters set fire to the bush and drive the animals away. They meet them with a bow and arrow, striking their hearts. They run. Our land was once full of color, like a patchwork quilt. But now the stitches are coming apart, like unraveling our country. The lamb takes my hand in hers. Together, we fly. What's that in your hand? Hey, what are you eating? Show me. Open your hand, come on. Dandelion? You can't eat dandelion. Spit it out, come on. Out with it in my hand. All of it on the stalk. This is what you do with dandelion. Huh? Clock. Abdul? Huh? What's study? Yes, you can have a go, but you have to watch me first. You find one in the ground, the bigger, the better. And pull. Then take a deep breath and blow at the clock. There, you see? The snow drifts up and away with the wind. You can make a wish if you want to. Like when you blow at birthday candles. Nelam wants a baby desperately, but I don't want to bring a child into a fighting world. Nelam wants a baby desperately, a world where boys are stolen from the streets and trained to become bloodthirsty soldiers, handling loaded guns when they should be running free. A world where girls can go to school, interrogated or worse. A world where our fathers are chewed up and spat out again, like a piece of rotten candy. Our mothers, sisters, wives and daughters, beaten and branded with hot pokers. Treated like they're inferior. Treated like slaves. Abid. Sorry, son. I know this is hard to hear. But not all children are born into safety and comfort. Some are born into war. Now is not the time to have a child. Juba is noisy like Khartoum, but we're not afraid. There are people like us, students and protesters, who refuse to show fear in the hands of brutal government. The armed forces will protect us from harm. Here in Juba, we're safe. Me and your mama work long hours, sometimes weekends. Nilam is always marking exam papers late into the night. The university lost more than half of the professors in the move back to South Sudan. She doesn't want the students to fail. She works all day and all night until her eyes ache with tiredness. Shut the books, Nelam. It's 3 in the morning. I have to finish. I'm almost at the end. But I have theater tomorrow. Major operation. Come on, please, sleep. These papers can't mark themselves. You want my students to fail, Tom? Go to war or end up hungry like the rest of the country? The hospitals are losing staff too. Every day, doctors are leaving Juba for a better life. But the casualties don't stop and the hospital is spilling over with people. Food starts increasing in the market. This is always a bad sign. No one wants to supply food from the outside when there is a war going on. One afternoon, the lamb returns home from work. She's early. I need you to sit down, Tom. I've got something to say. You've always got something to say. Please, please sit down. Why are you talking to Nelam? One of your students. I'm talking to you, my husband. I'm busy cooking fish stew. This is more important than that. What is more important than fish stew? Please, for once, Tom, do as you're told. Remove the heat from the fish stew. Wipe my hands and take a seat. I've been trying to find the right moment to, but nothing can prepare a man for what's to come. And nothing can prepare a woman either, but we're a team. And I did a good job of raising, look, I know you have a lot to deal with, the hospital, but sometimes these things just happen and it's not as if I can do anything about it now, so we just have to deal with the hard truth. The hard truth. Are you leaving me, Nelam? Have you met someone else, huh? A professor at the university? Or are you leaving me for Dr. Jumbo? I'm not leaving you. What? I'm with child. What? There's a fetus growing inside of me, and you are the father. Am I dreaming? Is this real? I see thunder in her eyes. Is it mine? Haven't you noticed me getting fat? Yes, but I didn't want to say anything. Hey, do you think that I was getting fat? I'm eating too many sweets. I didn't want to upset you. The thunder empties from her eyes and the smile makes its way onto her lips. So it's mine? Is it the baby? Yes, Tom, it's yours. I can't sleep. I'm lying in bed. I'm sweating and tossing and turning and panicking, worrying. You know, worries are building up in my head. I feel like I'm about to explode, like that pigeon. The lamb is sleeping quietly next to me. I can't believe there's a baby inside of her. A little spark of life that will grow into a big spark and shoot out like a firework. I feel sick. I'm going to be sick. Frightened of the world you'll be born into. I think terrible things and fall asleep praying that by morning you'll be gone. Night turns to day. The sun creeps under my eyes and pries them open. The lamb is still fast asleep. Gently, I lift the cover up. Her belly is a small mound that rises and falls with every breath. I cry, relieved that you're still there, and beg for your forgiveness. I'm holding her belly, but I'm scared I'll break what's inside. Quietly, I start whispering to you, son. One day, we'll return to the Nuba Mountains as a family. I'll show you the house and the land where the cattle roam free, where Mama Aga sleeps peacefully. There'll be mango trees growing, roosters crowing. I'll pluck the biggest one from the branch and the ripest mango I see and split it in 3. One for your mama, one for you, and one for me. Am I boring you, son? Soon you can join the children and leave daddy alone on this bench with his thoughts. Now, huh? I understand. You want ice cream, but you've already had your sweet treat. If you finish the grape, I'll buy you an ice cream. 99p fleck. Don't tell mama. The lamb is looking heavier now, okay? It's like she's carrying a stone in her belly. But every day it changes shape and we wake up to a new surprise. We go to our favorite restaurant and feast on lentils and okra. The lamb eats pancake and cassava, only yellow food. We eat like kings until our bellies are full. It's like we are students again and back in the Indian restaurant. We talk about your mama's students. One of them has left university to join the rebel army. But worse than that, my top student, the Darfuri boy I told you about, was arrested last week. I can't believe it. He was an active member of the student political group. And when the university got wind of this, they reported him to the state. He can only return if he pays his fees. How will he pay his fees? What will he do? He's already traveling back to the camp in Chad to be with his brothers there. We eat more pancake and discuss baby names. If you're a girl, we'll call you Ada. And if you're a boy, we'll call you, Clinton. No. What's wrong with that? Out of the question. You have to give me a reason. I'm not naming my child after the President of the United States. He's not such a bad president. Not like this Bush. Not so bad, eh? What about the time he bombed a pharmaceutical company, killed innocent people, thought it was Al-Qaeda? Stupid man got his facts wrong. Eh? Not a bad president, you say. We'll be a family of doctors, I tell her. I'm certain of this. You'll go to Juba University and to the military hospital for work experience. You sound like my father. I'm not like your father. Our child will be whatever he wants to be. It's a free country. We're not living in a free country. This is not America. They should be able to express themselves. And they can do that with a medicine degree. Maybe our child will be an artist. Imagine that. I spit out the okra stew. We live when you live in a war zone. No, nothing stays quiet for long. I'm called to the hospital. There aren't enough skilled doctors there. So I have to work on my day off. Rumors spread through the hospital wards. The military have surrendered. They won't protect us anymore. The SPLA are set loose on the city like wild animals. They are a sea of green, flooding the streets of Juba. They forced their way into a military hospital with their weapons raised. Some of the soldiers are children. Their eyes are wide and wild, afraid. It's like they are lost in themselves. They don't know what they are fighting for. Your people, surrender, they shout. And then gunfire. They swing and thrust and shoot and stab. Push forward and retreat, push forward and retreat. shut myself away. I pray. When the soldiers disappear, I emerge. Many patients and doctors are in a critical condition, but we don't have enough beds to save them all. I call Nalan. She's crying down the phone. She tells me there have been killings at the university. Who's been killed, Nalam? Who's been killed? Students have been killed. We can't stay here. The SPLA are killing people in their homes. We have to leave. We can't leave. You have a child inside. Our Punch tribe are wanted, Tom. They are targeting us in the north, and soon they'll come for us in the south. We are fresh meat. Can you imagine what they'll do to our unborn child? There's nowhere to go. Uncle Abed is in England. We can stay with him until the baby's born. Go home, I tell her. I'll meet you there. The only thing that matters is our safety, son. The only thing that matters is you. We leave our books, our clothes, our shoes, food, furniture, and Mama Aga's possessions. Packs of food, the toys, and hides the bike. We leave behind anything that will slow us down. Nothing but clothes on our back and the love in our hearts. The lamb is afraid, but I tell her not to worry. Soon we'll be free. Soon we'll be in England. It's our last night in the house. Tomorrow we will leave our home, the city, and head for Chad. We cook a meal of lentils, pancake. We make enough food for 3 days and pack it away in a bag. Nilam is quiet. She hasn't said a word all evening. I try to bring a smile to her face and make her laugh. I can't wait for our holiday. Maybe we'll find ourselves a beach to lie on, take a nap under a palm tree with an ice cream cone. I think I'll sleep on the airplane. I hope there is in-flight entertainment, movies and popcorn and surround sound. What will you do on the plane, Nalam? She's crying. It's not exactly the reaction I was hoping for, son. We eat in silence with the sound of gunfire sparking and imploding in the distance. Oh, hello, doggy. Where did you come from? Okay, calm down. Stop jumping, please. You're scratching my legs. Get down. There's nothing for you here. Nothing. Stay down, boy, down. Where is your owner? Down, boy, sit. Look. There's a good boy. Here. Play with that. Fetch, go fetch. That was close. He almost went for you too, son, but I stopped him. There's nothing to be afraid of. There's nothing to be afraid of. Dogs like that, they won't bite. He just wanted to play with us. Daddy needs to catch his breath. We've been traveling on foot for days now. Juba is far behind us. We're traveling westwards towards Chad, but it's too far for us to reach on foot. We stop and take breaks. We eat what we can. Bathe in the river with the sun burning through the clothes on our backs. Once we dry off, we continue walking west. We're getting through our food supplies quickly, so fast for 2 days. And I let the lamb take my food. I'm swatting the flies away from the lamb's face when suddenly she stops. Baby's kicking. I'm down on my knees with my left ear pressed against her belly. I can feel you kicking, son. You're starting an earthquake in your mama's tummy. It's like you're trying to push a stone against the ground with your little feet. The road ahead of us twists and snake. We find a tree. by the roadside, and the lamb sleeps under it as I keep a lookout. Now, for trucks, many hours go by until the first truck passes. I pay for it, I'm ready for it to slow down, but it picks up speed and disappears into the night. I chew on tree bark and stay awake. Sometimes I stretch my legs, run on the spot to keep fit. Another truck passes, starts to slow down until finally it pulls up on the side of the road, 5 kilometers away. The driver unloads sacks of millet. He carries them on his back into the bush and out of sight. Nilam, wake up! What is it? There's a truck. A truck? Where? Ahead of us. We need to move fast. We run along the road towards the truck. Lift ourselves up and onto the back and climb into the empty sacks. Our bodies lie still, but our mouths move silently as we eat grain after grain of millet. It's only when the rumble of the engine sounds that I'm wide awake again, alert to every movement. It's a long journey. I keep my body close to your mama's, so we're always touching. I can feel her belly move as she breathes. After what feels like many hours, I push my thumb through the hasten sack, stretch it wide enough for my eye. I watch for road signs. We pass through Al-Fasha, North Darfur, and eventually we arrive at Tena, where Sudan meets Chad. We pass through Al-Fasha, North Darfur, and eventually we arrive at Tena, where Sudan meets Chad. The driver stops for fuel. Luckily, it's dark outside, so we climb down and find a nearby bush for shelter. The lamb is refusing to eat. You have to eat something. I'm not hungry. Just a piece of pancake. I'm not hungry. You have a baby to feed. Enough, Tom. I'll eat later. Fine. But our baby will take all the nutrients and make you weak until there is nothing left but bones. Many young men work in gold mines across Chad and Sudan. One of these men introduces us to a smuggler who can get us to Libya. He's just a boy, 16 or 17 years old, should be at school, but this is what happens to children in war. Options are limited. Nilam interrogates this man, just like the army soldiers interrogated me in Khartoum. How much to Libya? 2,000 Libyan dinar each. We have passports. We will pay you 1,000 each. No, I can't do it for that. You'll have to find someone else. The smuggler is well known to the Sudanese. So as long as we pay him, we know we'll get to Libya. How do we know we can trust you? That you won't just run off with our money? Look, I can do 1,500 dinar, no less. We agree. The driver takes us from Tiana to his village, where we stay in the bush for 3 more days. The lamb is still refusing to eat properly. You have a baby to feed inside. Eat for the child if you won't eat for yourself. I feed her maize and sorghum, and I give the smuggler some money to buy fruit. The lamb takes the mango in her hands like this, and she squeezes it until it splits. The juice bursts out on all sides. What are you doing? Do you realize how precious this is? Huh? This mango in your hand, you haven't eaten properly for days now. Are you trying to kill our child? Her face folds up and creases like a tissue. And I realize then how much sadness she's been carrying around. We have to stay healthy and strong. Otherwise, we won't make it to England. Slowly, she eats 1 piece of mango, then 2, then 3 pieces. And I watch it bring color back to her face. As soon as the sun goes down, the smuggler gathers 15 other people, and together we drive to Libyan border. We share the back of the truck with gasoline, water, and our GPS device. The road is monitored by Janjaweed army, so we must be careful. We keep our heads down. As the truck crawls along the road, it's like we're creatures of the night, as the rest of the world sleeps. I stay awake to every sound, color, and movement. The truck picks up speed and the air rushes in, stinging my eyes. Our bodies rock with every tumble as a tire smacks the tarmac and swerves another pothole in the road. I watch the sky change color to a small crack in the roof. My eyes connect to stars and create constellations. Blackness slowly lets in streaks of white, pink, and orange. It's beautiful, like a painting. After 8 days of stopping and starting for fuel and for food, we enter Libya through the southern border of Chad. All the pancake is gone. So we eat plant leaves in the bush with our friends. Thank you, God, for this food, for getting us to Libya safely. Please protect our child and carry us to our new home in England. Our bellies are full and the lamb is happy. You are right about Clinton. I know the lamb. It's a terrible name. You should always listen to me. If I have a son, I think Abdul Babar would be a much better fit. I try and swallow down the lump in my throat, but it won't go anywhere. Do you think we'll make it to England? I'm sure of it. What if the sea swallows us up? I don't know what to say to this. So instead, I plant a kiss on Mama's forehead and tell her to sleep. I'm lying on my back, looking up at the stars. Everything is quiet. So I listen to the sound. Crickets are chirping, and there's rustling in the bushes. There is a breeze rushes through. I think of the Nuba Mountains. I try and remember the color of the earth, my journey to school, and the sound of Mama Aga's voice. But as hard as I try to remember the details, it pulls away from me, like a memory that's fraying at the edges. The lamb's head is resting on my chest, and I watch her belly rise and fall. I stay awake for most of the night, listening to her breathing. The moon is full. It shines down on us like a beacon of hope. I rest my hand on her stomach and feel for 2 heartbeats. I sing to you, my son. I sing to you as Mama Aga sang for me. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. When morning comes, the smugglers take us in Paris to Tripoli. You know the story of Noah's Ark, huh? As the animals go in 2 by 2. It's like we're being herded and prodded and pushed around from one place to the next. The lamb sits in front of the car next to the smuggler. He gives me a niqab to wear on my head, like a woman, because Libyans respect women and they don't search them. The army patrol the roads, and at one point, we almost get stopped. I'm sweating so much under the niqab because we haven't had much water, and it's already 30 degrees outside. We arrive in Tripoli and change vehicles. The smuggler exchange money, and we show them our passports and documents. We arrive in Tripoli. The new smuggler pushes us onto the back of the truck. He treats us rough, and Nilam too, even though she's a woman. But it doesn't make a difference to them. Please be careful. My wife has a baby inside. He smiles back at me. And I see that his mouth is full of rotting teeth. Nilam is withdrawing now. Every time I reach out to her, she shrinks away and retreats into a shell of darkness. The light in her eyes has gone out, and I'm not sure how to get it back. She stopped feeding herself, so I start pushing food between her lips like a newborn baby. Sabarta is a coastal city in Libya. We stay in a 3-story building for 2 weeks to wait for the next boat. The building's falling apart. It's filled with rubble, rags, and old clothes. As I make a bed for Nilam to rest in, she breaks the silence. Something's wrong with the baby. What do you mean? It hurts. Show me where. She places my hands on her stomach. You're hungry. No, it's not that. You need to eat, Nilam. I'll be back soon. On my search for food and water, I pass familiar faces. Many are from Ethiopia and Eritrea, but mostly from West Africa. United by our shared struggle, sleeping, eating, and resting side by side in this dusty building. When I tell people how far we've traveled, they look at me in disbelief. But the hardest part is yet to come. The boat is just 10 kilometers away. We travel on foot in the dark with other Africans, mostly young boys, escaping hunger and war, hoping for a better life. Someone from Red Cross gives us fresh water. They're handing out clothes and giving medicine to sick people. A woman comes up to us. She puts her arm around Nilam. When did she last have something? It was this morning. She lost her appetite for a few days, but it's back now. We've got medicine that can examine her. I'd strongly advise. No, Liz, we have somewhere to be. It will only take a moment. I'm a doctor. I can take care of my family. God will protect us. God will watch over us. God will keep us safe. The air smells fresh. So fresh. I can almost taste the salt water. Nilam is slowing down and dragging her feet behind her. We must move fast, otherwise we'll miss our reservation. You make it sound like we're going to a restaurant. What do you mean? That's exactly where we are going. Honestly, Tom, what's on the menu then? I don't know, but I think it's Mediterranean. I finally get a smile from your mama. It's the first smile in weeks. One of the boys gives us a banana to eat. He has Nuer markings running across his forehead. We stop on the roadside and share a meal together. Before crossing the sea, I asked the Nuer boy, where is he going? England country. I have cousins there in Manchester. Ah, home to Manchester United. Yes, one of the best teams. And your mother and father, where are they? Chad. My father's fighting. My mother's too sick to leave. And you? England too. There's nothing left for us anymore. Hunger and war, it pushed us out of our homes. But we'll build a better life in England. Today we make it there. We arrive at the port where the boats are waiting for the next load. The only light comes from a torch that examines our tired faces. The heavy load on our backs, wriggling babies, swaddled in cloths. There are swarms of people. Some have been beaten to pulp. The smugglers are poking and prodding and pushing and telling us, line up and hand over passports for health and cards and residence papers. I need your passports. When will we get them back? When we're finished with them? We need them to get to England. He snatches the passports from my hand and pushes us along. We're told the boat will carry 70 passengers to Italy, and that we'll have to find our own way to England. We're herded like cattle into the inflatable orange dinghy. People are shouting, "Stop pushing! We're not animals! Stop pushing!" A smuggler grabs my arm. He says to me, "That pretty wife of yours looks hungry. Want us to look after her properly?" I spit on the ground by his feet. People are scrambling all around to find a good place for the journey. I tell Natalie to think of our new lives in England. Soon this nightmare will be far behind us and we can live with dignity again. The sea is vast, nothing but choppy waters ahead. They give a GPS satellite, phone and contacts for rescue organizations to one of the young boys, a Liberian who speaks English and French. The engine erupts beneath us. The smugglers flash their dirty teeth, and one of them says, "Let the fish eat your flesh." We are dropped into the Mediterranean Sea. There are more than 90 passengers on board. It's not strong enough or big enough to carry us all. It's smaller than the boat in your imagination, son. It's no bigger than the boat in your hand. The choppy waters are making our stomachs turn, but there's nothing in our stomachs to be sick with. We're being flattened by the weight of each other. If we move too much, we'll capsize and sink to the bottom of the Mediterranean Sea. I play a color game, pass the time, count the number of red shirts, then blue, then green, and finally yellow. There's a staggering number of striped shirts. But what do you think the common denominator is up to? What is the common thread that connects us all? Go on, have a guess. It's the expression on our faces. Lines of weariness, eyes of sadness. We're connected by grief and loss. War, son, is the common denominator. The lamb is fast asleep. Her legs are being crushed by the passengers. "Please," I say, "my wife, she's carrying our child. Please, give her space." I pull her closer to me and feel her belly for your kicks. The lamb's stomach is a small mound covered by layers of fabric. I imagine how she'll look once you're fully cooked. I hope you have her emerald eyes. The sky goes dark again, and I'm drifting in and out of consciousness. I don't know how I manage it. What? I'm sleeping on the choppy waters. My legs are numb because the newer boys sleeping on them, but I can't say anything because he too is feeling pain. The boat's slowing down, and there's a sense of urgency and panic in people's voice. "What's happening, Tom?" "It's okay. Everything's fine. Go back to sleep. We're not moving, are we?" "We'll be there soon. Sleep now. It's important you rest." Within minutes, we hear the engine fire up. It makes a vroom sound, and it's much stronger this time. We start moving again, and there's a collective sigh of relief. Passengers are laughing and crying with relief. I close my eyes and thank God for saving us. Many hours passed, and eventually, we see a mass of land appear in the distance. I take a deep breath and fill my lungs with Europe air. I squeeze your mama's shoulder. "We've made it, Natalie. We're in Europe." She tells me to put my teeth back in my mouth because we're only halfway there. I try to, but it's impossible. My stomach has shrunk, to the size of a pea. There's no meat left on these bones of mine. I'm much skinnier than you, son. Can you imagine that? It starts to rain, and I catch the water on my tongue. I reach out for Nilam and feel the dampness of her forehead. She's cold, very cold. We're slowing down again. The engine's rumbling like an empty stomach that needs more fuel. Container ships and boats are lined up along the port. My fingers traces the edge of the island, where it's many curves, straight long lines, and the crevices. The colors merge, and then we get closer. They sharpen into focus. I've never seen a more beautiful sight. Hours pass until we're rescued by the Italian finance police vessel off the coast of Sicily. They climb on board and hook us up to the vessel. The police are dressed in white. Their mouths are shielded by plastic masks, and they're wearing surgical gloves, to handle us with poking and prodding and pushing and shoving us like we're diseased animals. It pulls us through sea. The landscape rises up around us until we arrive in Palermo, Sicily. There's a mad scramble. UNICEF trucks are lined up and urging passengers on board. Rumors spread that the camp has food, beds, and clean water to drink. Then the war boy rises up, shakes my hand before rushing off and following the crowd. That's when he catches my eye. Solomon, my brother on this very same boat. Solomon, wait please. It's your brother Tom. I'm running ahead, trying to catch up, but I'm tripping up and my legs are like jelly, completely numb. I shake them back to life, catch my breath. Someone grabs me by my shoulder. A policeman. Is that your wife? Nilam is lying on the floor. A river of blood between her legs. No. I run to her. This can't be true. People are crowding around, so I push through. That's when I see her mouth is blue. I lift her hijab to find her legs mottled and swollen. The ground is pulled from under my feet, and I fall into it like sinking sand. Call a doctor, someone shouts. I am a doctor, I want to tell them, but the words don't come out. A group of doctors arrive from the UNICEF truck, carrying a stretcher. Their hands move along her body like a dance. I try and focus, but all I can hear is Ali's voice in my head and the words, "You will be a fine doctor." A doctor asks for clothes, socks, anything to stop the blood from running down her leg. I give her my shirt, my jacket, all of the clothes on my back. She's carrying a child. I tell them, she's carrying our baby. Her legs start cramping, so the doctor gives an injection to help ease the pain and stop the spasms. I take her hand and hold her palm to my face. I fall into her emerald eyes and can't find my way back out of them. I'm sorry, Nella. They move her onto a stretcher, carry her off the boat, and wheel her onto the back of the UNICEF truck. A woman takes my arm and tells me to sit down. She gives me a bottle of water and a biscuit or some kind of sweet. You've got to eat. I'm shaking. I can't see what they're doing. Everything around me blurs, all the colors and shapes merge. And I feel hot and dizzy. I hear the doctor say, "I can't find her heartbeat. We're losing her." I pray. God will help us. God will save us. God will carry us to England. Elam, stay with me, please. But the light goes out from behind her eyes. The doctor within me is trying to be calm. How can I be calm when you, my son, are in my hands like pieces of broken glass? I try and put you back together again, but someone is pulling me away. When I open my eyes, you're far from me, and so is she. I arrive in England, London. It's spring. Thousands of white fluffy globes floating in the air. They are dandelion snow, drifting up and up, away until they disappear out of sight. I am like them, and they're like me, lost in this big city. Peckham is our new home now. Mama is studying again, so she can teach in a big university. I am a doctor, a father and a husband, and together we are a family. In England, we are family. This morning, I turned on the TV and I saw a student protesting about the Khartoum massacre. My country on the CBBC. She was raised above the crowd, all dressed in white. The layers of fabric ran from head to toe, creating ripples like the ocean with every move and chant. She was wearing gold circular earrings, like the ones Nelam used to wear. I couldn't tear my eyes from the screen. She was standing on the roof of a car, above a sea of protesters, leading rallies with her cries and singing songs of revolution. A beacon of light shone from the tip of her fingers as it pointed to the heavens, demanding to be heard, demanding to be seen, just like the Statue of Liberty, fighting for change and freedom, wearing the clothes of the mothers who came before her. I thought it was her. I thought it was Nilam. But this woman is from a different generation, a generation that will not be silenced, a generation that will not be still, a generation that will continue to push back until their voices are heard. I have seen and witnessed war. It's not about who wins or who loses. It's about who's left. A very long time ago, the mural said that when the world could talk, people had a link between heaven and earth and could easily travel from earth to heaven using a string that connected the two. If someone wanted to go to heaven, he or she could easily go and return back to earth. And when somebody wanted to come from heaven to visit earth, he or she could come and go back, depending on his or her needs. This string was very good and important for the communication at the time. One day, a woman wanted to go to heaven while carrying her grinding stone. Maybe she wanted to leave it there for God to protect her. Protect it. On her way to heaven, the stone fell out of her hands, tumbled all the way down to earth, cutting the string that was used to reach heaven. Now listen carefully. Whenever you look up at the sky and see a full moon, that is when you find peace. Because you know that she made it to heaven with her grinding stone. Her stone is shining down on us, protecting the people on earth. It rests there, waiting for her. And when she eventually finds peace on earth, she'll float to heaven and sleep peacefully with her grinding stone.
Well, Ali, that was pretty incredible. Thank you so much, ladies. Everybody, we'll be back in 10 minutes for a Q&A. So we hope to see you back there to help Natalie get some feedback on the piece. Thanks very much. Well done, Ali. And we'll see you in 10 minutes. Just to say, if you have any thoughts or comments, feel free to start putting those into the chat. Yeah, and we'll be going through the Q&A in 10 minutes time, so about 23 minutes past.